Nah, it should be back. Y'all, okay, we on. Keep me posted on the numbers. You know what it is. We have 4 seconds. We in. This is prison talk. I'm starting a little late because I got a bunch of interested men up here and a young lady, you know what I mean, that we try to get up in here. She having technical difficulties getting in. But this is prison talk. You know what I mean? November 11th, we get ready to do what we do, man. All right? I'm going to bring in my man, Haas. Yo, Big Haas, introduce yourself, family. We're going to do this quick. Get everybody in.
This Big Hassan. This Big Hassan from Lincoln Projects, 132 Madison Avenue.
All right.
All right.
Introduce yourself, Big Dog.
What's up, man? It's Tay Dane, LTY Music, Harlem in the building. Appreciate y'all, man.
All right. Introduce yourself, big homie.
You already know who it is. It's your boy Holiday, BX27 Valentine.
All right. Just so y'all know. All right. Introduce yourself, big homie. Big Ratchet.
Rashay Chaplin, Bronx, New York.
Okay. All right. Introduce yourself, big homie.
Yo,
hey, mate.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Introduce yourself, big homie.
Yeah, we hear you.
I can't hear the host, though.
Introduce yourself, big
Introduce
homie.
yourself, Jamie.
Oh, my name is Jamie. I'm from Harlem.
All right. So we getting ready to start this up. You know what I mean?
Can't really hear you, bro.
All right. There's a little bit of delay. So now, yo, Big Hoss, hit him with the first question, man. What's the topic? Where you at? Then we're going to rotate this thing. You know what I mean?
Well, we're going to be talking about, you know, the community. We're going to be talking about coming home from prison, you know what I'm saying? How it affects the community, how you know, how that transition is, how people feel we're receiving people coming home from the community and things of that nature, you know what I mean? And how that transition is for people who've been here and for people who home from jail. You know what I mean? Because it affects both sides.
All right. So, in other words, we're going to talk about transitioning back into society after doing time, because I know majority of the people looking on, they got family members or someone. What's up, Maylee? Got family members or someone that's in jail, and if they're not coming out, they're going to be coming out, God willing. So when they come out, you got to know how to, interact and deal with them. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I've been locked up 26 years. So I'm telling you, as sane as I sound, is as good as I'm doing on YouTube and social media and adjusting out here. You know what I mean? This joint is hard for me, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? 26 years I've been locked in a cage, and none of this easy. You know what I mean? So everybody look and say, man, if he can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? All that sound real good. You know what I mean? Until you get here and you sit in front of this camera and try and set all this up and orchestrate things. You understand what I'm saying? But I got all the young guys up here.
Exactly.
And, I'm going to have them speak on certain things, but I'm going to share one with you. Go ahead, big homie. Haas.
Right.
You're getting ready to say something, homie?
You know, because it's, yeah. So, well, anybody on the panel, when y'all want to chime in, you just could chime in. You know what I mean? If anybody want to chime in right now about coming home from jail, anything like that, because it's basically, you know, when you make a lot of problems, you got a lot of dreams and a lot of decisions. You transition your life in there. You know what I'm saying? And you got a lot of dreams and plans to say you're gonna say you come out here, but then when it comes to getting out here, you know what I'm saying? It's not as easy as the plans as you made it in your head while you was in there. You know, so part of the problem is because you don't have the proper support. You know what I mean? You don't probably have the proper community support, and that's what part of the reason the community, they don't understand the transition from getting identification, just for getting housing. You know, just for stabilizing yourself. So a lot of these things, you know what I'm saying, affect the people coming home and affect the people in the community who don't know how to deal with people coming home because they don't know what your needs are. You know what I mean? And so, you know what I'm saying, in his relationships, in terms about, proximity, you are far away from someone for so long, you know what I'm saying? You got to kind of figure out, how all this freedom is about and how to utilize the time wisely, because when we come back to these neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying, we trap back to the same thing. And a lot of us say, we're going to go straight. We're not going to do this, that, and other. We read books while we back there and this, that, and other, but it's hard to make the transition.
All right, so you understand what he's saying? It popped out. It's
he just cut off.
Man. What you got to say, big bro? Go ahead, Jamie. Jamie. Well, like I said, it's hard to transition, man, coming back out. Anybody tell you this is easy, they ain't been through it, or they lying. You know what I mean? I talked to my brother Kevin Childs on the video that I already have up. I got some more footage to put up where even Kevin Childs admitted that coming home, it was hard for him. And he felt like, you know what I mean, at times like he wanted to get back in the game. You know what I mean? Because everybody around him doing his thing, you know what I mean? And so on and so on. So I'm just letting y'all know, you know, me after selling 25 keys a day, coming home doing this, and now I got to sit down as the little man on the totem pole. You know what I mean? When everybody else got their little groove going, and you know that's why I run so hard, because I refuse to be the little man on the totem pole. Call me cocky, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? I refuse to be at the bottom. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care how long you cage me.
Right.
Jump higher when I get out. Because I didn't spend 26 years complaining about how hard time was. I did time. I bettered myself during the time so that I'll be prepared for these obstacles. Because everything in life is an obstacle. Like Tamika Moody asked, what's the biggest obstacle, you know what I mean, that we face? I want all of y'all to speak on that also as well. But, you know, let's start with Jamie. What's the biggest obstacle you face coming home? Okay.
You know, the biggest obstacle I face coming home, we'll get somebody else on the panel, let them go.
Yeah, live through yours. What's up, family?
Big H, what's up? You can hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
Big H.
Yeah, my biggest obstacle, you know. Yeah, can you hear me?
What's the biggest obstacle for coming home?
My biggest
obstacle. Yeah, we hear you now, baby.
Yeah, was just trying to stay patient. Like, it was hard for me to deal with not being violent. I would say violence is a big thing in the community because you don't have to sell drugs or I don't have to steal, but the energy in the hood be so crazy that you could hurt somebody and go back to jail. They could hurt you, and I think that's the biggest thing in my community right now. Like, trying to stay clear of violence, petty violence.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Jamie,
what about you, Jamie?
Okay, Jamie pumps up. Live and work. You got your water in you. What's your biggest obstacle, big homie? Tamika Mooney want to know. What's your biggest obstacle coming home that you face?
Well, my biggest obstacle coming home was, finding my kids. You know what I mean? And when a lot of times in jail, people write, but then they stop writing after a while. You know what I mean? So when I got out of prison, I went straight to go find my kids, but I went to the address that was on the last address that was on the card I had, the last one card, but they had moved. So I had no idea my children was at. So you know what I'm saying? I did where one of my kids was at, but my other kids, I didn't know where they was at. So that affected me a lot, and it actually put, it made me, it drove me to, it drove me, you know what I'm saying, to actually stay the course, because I had a plan when I came home. Like everybody do have a plan when they come home. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. But you know what happened? Initially, and then sometimes initially you'll start off. Because like I said, you got to get your identification. You got to get some place to stay. You got to get some kind of income coming in. You know what I mean? And if you don't have nobody supporting you, you know what I mean? The first thing you got to do, you got to go to service. You got to go to all these things that, you know what I'm saying, that's foreign to you, because before you went to the street, you ain't need these type of things. You ain't need identification. You know what I'm saying? Most you needed was a fake ID. You wasn't trying to get real ID. You was trying to find out where the heck you could get some other body's name on some identification. So a lot of these things, going to actually get the identification, actually, getting a birth certificate, you know what I mean? Going to get a job, even knowing how to go get a job, even knowing what to say to somebody to go get a job, even knowing, so these things present themselves as obstacles.
Yeah. What you got to say, live through yours?
Bless, man. Yeah, I'm just listening so far. I got a lot of questions for the brothers because I haven't done no long stretches. I've had some scuffs and some scrapes with the police, as many black men have. You know what I mean? But so majority of my things will be questioned towards you all that have. But like you said, man, any obstacle is just re-entering a system that doesn't really have anything for you. You know what I mean? So in general, we just need to have some more services for on the rebound. So once you come back into a society where it's like you were already behind and now you're a couple more steps behind, at least there's some type of service, some type of program where we can come together and help our brothers out. You know what I mean? And sisters, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Jamie, you can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear
All
me?
right. So that's good. Okay,
All
so
right,
what's the biggest
cool.
obstacles for you, big bro?
I mean, me personally, I didn't really have too many obstacles, man, because I already came out with the mind frame of I'm not coming back.
Mm.
That was the bottom line. I already said to myself before I left the joint, before I left inside,
Yeah.
I said self. I had this conversation just like this. I said, self, this is gonna be your last time seeing any more four walls.
Mm-hmm.
Only four walls you're gonna see is inside your apartment, your house, or whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to beg, borrow, and steal not to come back in here, that's what you have to do. If you have to separate yourself from old places and things, that's what you have to do. But right now, you have to focus on yourself and get yourself together. Because at the end of the day, like I done did a few scratches. I done did 7, I done did 3, I done did a couple of in and outs. So, and I done seen all parts of it. I done seen state, federal, juvie. So for me, I said to myself, I said, yo, you did all 3 parts. You did juvie, you did state, and you did federal.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is the same.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about, man. I mean, we as black men and men in general, especially minorities, you know what I mean, with whatever shades that we have to know that life is not easy, and no matter what, we got to push forward because it's easy to lay down. You know what I mean?
That's the
But it's
easiest
hard to
thing to
stand
do.
up, man. You know what I mean? It's
That's
hard to
right.
stand
That's
up.
right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
It's hard to stand up, man.
Agreed.
Just like
That's right. And
uh,
Garvey and Hamilton,
you
Marcus Garvey lived. That's right. That's right. Marcus Garvey lives.
already know. You know,
And we do got to break the chain. But we
but
got to
that's what I'm
understand, first of all, we got to understand something, that the chain is implemented through lack of education. You know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying? Through lack of education, that's how you create the cycle. Because poor education means poor opportunities. You know what I mean? So what happens is you get to a certain age, you start wanting to create your own opportunities. Everybody in the hood is not a hustler. You got other people that commit other type of crimes. But what ends up happening is that you all can get up back there together. You know what I mean? And we all end up faced with the same obstacles. You know what I'm saying? In terms about returning, in terms about whether it's easy or not, whatever, you still have to. There's still certain methods that you have to follow if you want to stay track. Like I take my hat off to Jamie, because Jamie did. He came home and he did his thing. You know what I'm saying? He went straight, but but everybody's story is not like that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times, you know what I'm saying? You get sucked back in. I got sucked back in. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You get sucked back in because when your back is up against the wall, you can only go through what you know. You know what I mean? And you gotta start spinning your ride. You gotta start spinning your horizons. You gotta start. You know what I mean? So you gotta put yourself in certain other places if you want to do bigger things. You know what I mean? Had I not changed my life, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't even be comfortable sitting here. You know what I mean? I could never be on TV. So, it's a process, you know what I'm saying? I'm thankful that I changed my life. And you know what? Being that I'm here means I'm all the way square. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't even chance it. But you know what? This is what keeps you, because that's a whole nother lifestyle. And what happens is that the problem is that the youth. And it's dangerous because what happens is that's what feeds the prison complex. It's a shame when you see a father and son in jail together. You follow what I'm saying? It's a shame, you know what I'm saying? The father, they don't even eat together. They don't even walk together, but they both in the same camp together. So you know what I'm saying? It's a shame, you know what I'm saying? And we gotta understand, the burden that it puts on our families too. Some people put the burden on but some people go back there, like, so they get their hustle on. You know what I mean? Because you got to live and eat back there too. You follow what I'm saying? What happens is that, what happens is prison, or sometimes, if you know what I'm saying, depending on your mindset, it'll allow you to be the criminal that you was in the street. You know what I mean? On a smaller scale, but you still, you know what I'm saying? You still could, you involved in criminal enterprise. You know what I'm saying? You got to unlock the prison up here in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And use that time. But some people go back there, play cards all day, play ball all day, hustle all day. You know what I mean? When I was back there, I was loan sharking and and running gambling boards. So it's about your mindset. You know what I mean?
All right, let me ask y'all this, right? Yo, y'all watch my hand. When my hand come up, that means that I'm trying to say something, right? But I'm gonna let y'all ride out because I want y'all's opinion. Now, from coming home, like me, when I went in, I couldn't read or write, but I became a plumber, electrician, you know what I mean? Certified cook, culinary arts specialist, electrician, mechanic, and all of this. You know what I mean? But I'm doing the YouTube right now, so I didn't get a chance to apply that yet. So my question to y'all is, my thing is, when y'all came home, how was it implementing the things that you learned while you was in prison, like the penitentiary trades? I'm talking about honest trades, not selling drugs and talking in the yard with the homies about how they robbed the bank or how they bust a check. But I'm talking about when you actually went to school to learn a trade to further your education. Did y'all learn anything like that, and how was it implemented into society? Does that work?
Who's gonna go first?
Well, when I first got in the joint, I refused to work.
Now let Jamie go. Okay, Jamie.
I refused to work.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was the one.
I did everything. I did everything. I did everything I could do not to work. You know what I mean? You know, it's funny, but you got to occupy the time with something. So I read a lot. That was the first time I ever read. You know, the funny thing is, I used to say I don't be reading. Now all I do is read. You know what I mean? But that used to be my thing. It wasn't until I got to prison until I started reading. It wasn't until there, you know. So it had the duality to it in regards to, you know what, I was still, you know, who I was, but it gave me time to be something that I never did before. You know what I mean? But the problem is, go there to figure. You know what I mean? But that's why I did it at. You know, that's why I started. You know, because what happens is we go in there as young men. You know, we learning who we are. We figuring out what we want, what we don't want, and now you trapped in this cage. You follow what I'm saying? So now you trapped in this cage at a young age, and you grown in the manhood. Although you think you're a man already. You know what I mean? But a lot of us coming there young. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is that, you know what? You know, you know what I'm saying? We don't have no control of the environment we live in. We have the control of the neighborhoods we live in. You know, we don't have the control of the opportunities. We have control of our actions. You know what I mean? But it's funny, you know, when people say you got to change, you got to change. When I came up, it looked like selling drugs was legal. You know what I mean? Because everybody was doing it, and not everybody was doing. Only a certain group of men were doing it, and that certain group of people, you know what I'm saying, did it. It almost seemed like it was impunity. It was certain laws, rules, and regulations that went with that. And prison is part of that. And see, that's the thing about it. If you're gonna get involved with the crime, you can't be afraid to do the time. You gotta go sit there and go do it, go handle it. You know what I mean? So it's not a rite of passage for young black men.
Well, he popped out for a minute. Yo, I see a lot of people. Devon Lewis, what up, nephew? Lamar Green, you already know we staying strong. Tamika Mooney, Lamisha Wilmer, Bruce McDaniels, I already see you. You know, Louis Fairbanks. Now, my thing that I want y'all to understand is, man, like I said, you know, I don't want to keep throwing my numbers out there, how much I did, but I did decades. All right. But like I said, none of this is easy, man. And you know, like the questions I see people keep asking and keep speaking on is you got to break the chains of the mind, man. Everything started in the mind. That's where it came from. We enslaved ourselves because we was in control of our minds. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, how do y'all feel about the choices that you've made? Somebody say something.
I mean, for me, right? This is Jamie speaking. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah,
I hear
you, Jamie.
I hear you.
All right, let's wait for the. Because he's breaking up right now on my end.
No, it's not breaking up. We hear you clear, brother. Just talk. Even if you can't hear yourself, we hear you, big dog. Please don't slow the movement down.
My fault.
We want to hear your wisdom. All right.
For me, what I was saying, what I did for myself was I said I'm not going to break my chain. I'm just going to dust it off and add new links, because everything I went through, I'm not regretting it. Everything I did for a reason, and those were my choices. It wasn't nobody else's choices, because my mom's raised me different. I wasn't raised to run the streets. I grew up around it, but I wasn't raised that way. So everything I did on my own. It wasn't like it, so I just accepted. And that's the thing about us now. We don't accept our past to make a better future. We just constantly try to put the blame on somebody else and don't sit there and say, well, you know what? I'm gonna use this same hustle and tenacity, right, that I was doing when I was in the street to go out here and do it out here in the real world. Like, it's the same game. It's not different. It's the same game. And you think about it. You standing on the corner selling drugs is the same way as the stockbroker standing in the stockbroker selling stocks, man. It's the same game. And we out here, we'll go out here and be on those corners, or we'll go robbing, busting checks, doing all that. It's the same game. When you sitting there trying to buy stocks, when you sitting there trying to figure out how you're going to make your next move in the streets, it's the same game. Nothing is different. Trust me when I tell you, man. Trust me when I tell you, it's not different.
That is right. That's true.
You're right.
Everybody agree with that?
That's true. That's true.
It's all a game, man.
I think what we
It
mess
ain't worth
up at
playing
as men,
anyway. It ain't worth playing.
I think what we mess up at as men.
We say Craig? We say H? H? We say H?
Hello?
I'm saying that it's all a game, and in the game theory, you know what I'm saying? You analyze business, you analyze war, you analyze biology. It's not worth playing. There's no winners, there's no losers. There's only learning from it. Only learning. The ones who've been there, they'll tell you, you have to experience it yourself, especially not prison or jail or hospital, you know, end up hurt. But really, in our communities, as I stated before, violence is number one. Violence, you know, and that comes from our health. What we eat. A lot of us have high blood pressure, so we be tripping. You know, our physiology is off, so we might walk on the next man or a woman. It's all physiology, biology. So, like I said, right now it's just the violence. You know, we gotta change the way we eat, wait, and that's when.
Good point, man.
Okay. That's what I'm saying, man. A lot of this, man, like I said, everything comes from the mind. You in control of the mind, so you control of your lifestyle. You in control of where you at, whether you want to take responsibility or not. You have to break the chain and break that theory that someone else did it. You know what I mean? I'm in the situation or the place that I'm in, not talking to nobody, I'm just saying in general.
That's right.
You know, as far as people say that I'm here because where I grew up in the hood. I didn't have no food. I didn't have no this. I didn't have no that. There's a lot of other kids that didn't have either. You know what I mean? And some became doctors and lawyers, and some became uniques that got 100 years in prison.
That's right.
I mean? So we just gonna keep it real. I learned to take responsibility for myself. Renee Whitehead, what's up, sis? I learned to take responsibility for my actions. That's why since I've been home, you know what I mean? All this that I'm doing, I'm trying to bring awareness to the youth, and I'm trying to bring my brothers, my kingpins. You understand what I'm saying? That ran the streets with me and poisoned the streets with me. You understand what I'm saying? And corrupted the streets with me. You know what I mean? I'm bringing them to the forefront for them to admit they're wrong to you. You understand what I'm saying? If they feel they're wrong. If they felt they did wrong. You know what I mean? I feel I did wrong. You know what I mean? I did what I had to do with what I had, and I made it. You understand what I'm saying? I made it for me, being selfish, but I brought a lot of other people down at the same time when I had a chance to help a lot of people go up. You know what I mean? But, you know, okay, you have to disagree. Go ahead, Coco Chanel. Yes, we accept our past, but it doesn't mean you have to stay linked to it. Break every chain. Well, where did that come from? That's the point that I'm making, that I'm taking responsibility for my chances and choices in life, and I'm trying to tell my other kingpin brothers to do the same thing, so that y'all looking in on us, so that we don't, well, I mean, I'm not out here trying to talk about how much keys I sold and how much cars I had, because they're going to talk about that anyway, because I was that fly of a nigga. You know what I mean? Let's keep it at 100. So I don't need to do that. You know what I mean? But what I need to do is tell the youth that even with all that and all the good glamorous stories, movie star stories, everybody wants to see the war in Harlem, go to the big screen. You know what I mean? It wasn't worth it. That's what I'm here to say, that it wasn't worth it. I did 26 years in jail, and I told them,
exactly.
25 years a day. You want to give up, 26 years of your life? and sell 26 keys a day, 25 keys a day, and then don't know what to do with the money when you get it because you didn't have education to know how to spend it. You understand what I'm saying? All I knew how to do was make it, and I'm keeping it 100. And so did my brothers around me, or else we all be millionaires and billionaires now because we all the Fortune 500. You know what I mean? From the crack era. You know what I mean? But they didn't put shoes and you know what I mean, and food and you know what I mean, and other things for us to sell in front of us. They put drugs in front of us. That's what's easy accessible. I'm talking about I walk up on Broadway and 20 people running up on me. What do you want? How much drugs you want? I got the best drugs. I got the cheapest drugs. You know what I mean? Wasn't nobody walking up to me saying,
I got the good material. I got the good material.
And make $9.
See
But
me
they
in
say buy this ounce.
28.
That's what they presented to me. Not blaming them, just
One
keeping it
for
real.
one.
I'm just one that knew how to take it and monopolize with it. You know what I mean? And keep it 100. I've been home 5 months. I ain't been home 6 months in everything I'm doing. So you know if they wouldn't have caged me, what I would have been. You know what I'm saying? Today. But that's the point in caging us. Not just me, us. You understand what I'm saying? Us that have the capability
Exactly.
of bringing 5 and 6 brothers on the screen to talk to each other to stop us from going down the line of their penitentiary and filling up their prisons and making money for them on Wall Street by us being warehoused as stock. You know what I mean? We're stock.
That's right.
Let's get
That's
it right.
right.
They look at us as stock. You know what I mean? Like y'all laugh and all that, say, oh, he went to jail and talked that bad down to people in jail, and we don't have all we got is a number. We don't even have a name. We lost our rights. Well, all y'all got a number too. Your social security number, your driver's license number. You know what I mean? That's all they care about. They don't care about what your mama and your daddy named you. Ain't none of that in there. You ain't even got to put your name on nothing. You just put that number they give you on your credit card, your bank card, your social security card, your driver's license, and that's who you are to them. You know what I mean? Figures. Go ahead, big bro.
I got a question. How do we change the narrative?
How do we change the what?
The narrative. How do we change? How do we make the change? How do we get the people to change their mind?
The first thing you must do,
Well,
you know what I mean?
Is
learn your ABCs. You know what I mean? We must learn to read. Everything we need, you understand what I'm saying, is in a book. You understand? They realize that not only our sisters, while they was locking up us men back in the 80s and 90s, but our sisters started picking up their books. And our sisters became the breadwinners. You understand what I'm saying? And at one time, like when I was out there, you know what I mean? It wasn't no females jet setting, flying to Hawaii for vacation. You know what I mean? Going to Jamaica with their friends to hit a dude with a street joint. It wasn't none of that going on back then. If we didn't take a female somewhere, 9 times out of 10, they didn't go. You know what I mean? So, but nowadays, it's like the females is making the moves. And if the females don't take the dudes, 9 times out of 10, the dudes ain't leave the town. You understand what I'm saying? Because those are the females are the ones that picked up the books. You know what I mean? So to break the chain, to answer your question, you must first, learn to be able to read and comprehend. You understand what I'm saying? So you know what you read. You go ahead, big bro.
I got another question for you. How do we use what we read and make it into real life? Bring it into existence.
That's a good question.
Say it again. I didn't understand it.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I said, how do we use what we read and bring it into existence?
Because as you read, as you look, as you listen, and not speak, you understand what I'm saying? You observe your surroundings and you take your time and you manifest it within your mind. You understand what I'm saying? And when you look at something, don't just read it and say, oh, that's what it is. You have to read it and you have to digest it. And you don't have to digest it by taking 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes. You can digest it by just looking at it in as many different ways as you can and still be able to move forward and not slow down. You know what I mean? Your ultimate goal, which is to finish reading what you read. You understand what I'm saying? So in other words, implement it in your life, in your mind. That's why they say, you got to break the chains in your mind. You have to open up the chains in your mind. You know what I mean? We got to break the bad chains. but we have to open up the chains in our minds so that we can let other things within. You understand what I'm saying? That we're going to use to strengthen us to stand up and to move forward. Because this ain't easy, man. I done been to 10, 20 different penitentiaries in 26 years. And each time you go there, you got a different group of men, which is a different group of mentalities. You understand what I'm saying? You go in the South, you know what I mean? And they just laid back dudes. You understand what I'm saying? And they just chilling their little crews and their cliques and all that. But then now you go out west and everybody want to be in their gang environment. You understand what I'm saying? And that's where the violence come in. You know what I mean? And 9 times out of 10, like I was telling one of the young brothers today, I was our mentor. 9 times out of 10, man, you know, the problems that we have is with each other. It's with the car. It's with the ones we say is our friend. It ain't with the enemy, because the enemy gonna think twice because he feel that you gonna bust him in the head. But your friend, he want to slide up on you. You understand? Now he slide up on you and you say, man, I love you, homie, you good people. You know what I mean? Now that's where the disrespect come in. That's where they say familiarity breeds disrespect. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Because, go ahead. Anybody else want to say something? I mean, I want to get some
I'll
jewels.
say
I want
something real
to let
quick.
me know you're receiving it. Go ahead,
Yeah, I'll
big
say
bro.
something real quick. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I've been coming in, going in and out of the chat, but I'm back like I never left. But I think it was H that was talking about a little while back about the game. Like, we all playing the game. It's kind of like a game that we, right? And I think a lot of it is too, as people of color, we play the street game, right? But it's like there's other ethnicities that play a certain game. Somebody else might say stocks and things like that. There's real estate, things like that. Like, so we gotta learn to play a different game. There's alternate games to play. Like, we gotta leave the illegal game alone, and we gotta look at other ethnicities and learn what they learn. Look at them and go, okay, I see what you're doing. I see you're buying up this, you're doing that, you're using your money and your vote or whatever you're doing as a group, as a collective. Okay, let me take that. Let me do that with my people. Like, so we could learn just like how you figure. You see white people that rap now. A lot of white boys that rap, they're very popular. Like, black people may rap. Like, they learned how to rap and articulate and swag. They learned, you know what I mean? You educated yourself on that topic. So we could do the same thing in reference to, instead of playing streets, instead of breaking down a key, you can go break down a property. You know what I mean? You go break down a stock, break down a company you can invest in. You know what I'm saying? So we could learn others. So like, how can so educate yourself, and then how can you use that education? How could you use what you read in the book? Well, how can I apply this into a different game and a new game? You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's hunger is different.
Well,
Everybody's hunger is different,
Yeah, finish, big bro.
Oh, I was gonna say is everybody's hunger is different. So let's say if you're in a poverty-stricken neighborhood, you don't really have it all, and you're hungry. You can't get basic necessities. Basic necessities is food, shelter, clothing, and love, right? You can't
That's the
find none of those
Maslow's
things.
laws.
So you go
Facts.
out into the street. You go out into the street looking
man,
for
that's
those
how I
things.
get.
And the number one thing you're gonna need is food. So people say, you know what, I get cash right now. I'll get cash right now if I, start doing crime, maybe sell drugs, maybe if I rob someone or steal. They just need the cash for the food. And that's where it all starts from. And then you might want some clothing. And it don't really feel wrong when you first do it, especially when you sell drugs, because as a youth selling drugs, many older customers are buying drugs from you. And they say, go on, son, go on. You look good out there. You don't even know what's wrong. Because one side is telling you it's wrong, and the other side is telling you it's right. So as a young person coming up, you just don't know what choices to make. That's all I want to say.
I think that as a young person, the side that's going to tell you good job is the side that's the side that sees you getting money and is like, that's the one that wants money. So if you think having money is a good thing, no matter how you got it, you're going to say, oh yeah, good job, young man, I see you getting it. But it's like, if you start thinking deeper, like, oh, you selling to your people, or you might be killing or stealing, like, right? So to go back to what you're saying, like, if you don't have, if you don't have shelter, if you don't have food in your mouth, clothing on your back, like, that's the Maslow's necessity, like that pyramid. So if you don't have that basic base down, I can't worry really about being a productive person in society. I can't worry about having too high of a moral, because I got to eat. Like you said, I got to go get money. I got to go whatever. You know what I'm saying? So we got to figure out how we can get people off the first base of not being able to eat, not being able to live. Yeah, good.
All right. Guys, you finished?
Yeah.
I think the question or the answer to that question is like we have to go back to the village mentality, because that's what it is. It's like everybody's
Sharing,
trying to be
communal,
everybody's trying to be a chief. So we
Yeah.
have all these chiefs out here. So that means that nobody is actually trying to be the Indian to work their way to the chief. They just coming straight out the gate. I'm a chief. I'm gonna do what I
You got a
gotta
lot
do.
of You
And
instantly a boss, but you ain't put no
yeah,
work in.
ain't put no work in, but you automatically the boss. So when you got a brother that did 26 years in the joint, right? It's like, now, what have you learned that we gonna learn from you? Because you had enough time to sit there and read every book in the world for you to give us this knowledge. So now it's like, all right, now I'm an Indian again. I'm no longer the chief, because this brother gonna give me something. And that's why we gotta get back to the village mentality. Because if you don't have something, that means you're supposed to come to me to get it. Because that's the reason for us having this conversation. Because we all trying to get something from each other.
It could be even exchange. It could be something you know that I don't know, something I know that you don't know, and we exchange that.
Exactly.
You know
so we like if we see somebody about to go out there and let's say do a robbery or something, it's on us to say, yo, bro, what are you about to rob this spot for? Oh, because I need $100 or I need $200. All right, well, hold on. Let me see if I can help you get this money together before you jeopardize your future. That's the village mentality. If you got 5 fish, I'm gonna give you 1. Then I'm gonna show you how to fish when you give me my 5 fish back.
Right. Show them how to fish.
That's how they build Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
That dollar circulated before it left the community.
Yeah.
That's what we stopped doing. We sending all our money. We sending all our people. We sending everything out, all out the community. We sending the books, the knowledge, and everything. And we forgetting about each other.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just that we got to get back to that right there, especially as men, especially as men, because as men we always try to like one up each other. Like, oh, you doing this? All right, I'm gonna go do this. Oh, you doing that? Oh, I'm gonna go do this. You knocking that chick down? I'm gonna get one better. I'm not trying to be better than none of y'all on here. Only thing I want to do is see how can we make this a better place for everybody.
Right. And that's how you better yourself, man. Because like I remember when I was young, I was like 16, wanted to be a rapper, wanted to go to the studio. I went to a spot and I was asking the guy with the buttons, like, yo, what that button do? He's like, look, don't worry about it, little nigga, just rap. I was like, oh, say less. Like, but I realized as an adult now, like, that he was threatened by my question, because if I knew what he knew, he's like, oh, I'll take his spot. But that's, like you said, that goes against the mentality we have to start adopting by saying, yo, listen, let's work together. Because at this point, it's like, listen, knowledge don't, like, I'm not threatened by you knowing what I know. Like, we can both know that. So I'm not, right? I haven't my value hasn't gone down. Your value's gone up. Like, we good. But if you feel threatened by me knowing stuff, that's why people keep the information away from you. Like, oh, nah, don't worry, don't keep it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we gotta be communal. And then, like, yo, for example, this whole situation, we on a podcast, this brother put together, like, after being down, he came home and be able to create this platform for himself. That's a skill set. So Black people need to figure out, yo, what's your skill set? What do you do that's dope that other people can't do? And push that.
And the crazy thing, the brother did 26 years. He did 26 years. You know what that is? That's 20. That's 365.
Well, no, I don't know what that is. But go ahead.
Listen, that's 365 days times 26.
I can't
he only been. Bro. Listen, he said he only been home. Big bro, how long you say you been home for?
5 months, homie.
He been home for 5 months. The first thing he did was said, yo, how can I start a podcast? The brother is still on parole.
Right.
He still got to check in with these people. But the first thing he did,
while we speak to you, homie.
Yo, it's for me that's like amazing. Like, I got a homeboy, right? You did, I got a homeboy. He did 22, right? He remind me of you. Same energy, same everything. He came home to the same style and everything. And I say that to say this: you have people out here that been out here and still don't know how to use a phone. The brother came home from doing 26 years and he's on a podcast, manipulating the system and everything.
Utilizing the new technology.
You understand what I'm saying? So this is to show you that old school trend right there. He's trying to bring it back. He's trying to bring it back. That's what kept us alive for so long.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with who had the most money. It had nothing to do with that. It was all about, yo, listen, let's see how we can get this together. Right. Probably back in his days, they had crews. This crew was over here. This crew was over here. This crew was over here. They probably all met up at the rink or at the rooftop. They shined together. Yeah, they had beef. But any time in war or any time in any state, any country, anywhere you go, it's going to always be violence.
Right, yeah.
People are always going to go against each other. Tribes in Africa, they fight against each other. Way before time, they was fighting against each other. But the thing is about not letting the violence get out of hand. And the violence has to be for a reason. Because violence is going to always be here. We can't just stop the violence. It's going to always be here. They show that to us all the time.
But like I said, big bro, you know, a lot of this, you know, the violence, to me, it comes from self-hate. You know what I mean? We look in the mirror and we see, you know, ourselves and what we don't like about ourselves. And then now when we look at our brother, you know, we see ourselves. So we want to be, you understand what I'm saying?
Yo, back like I never left. All right.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Okay, like, look, since I've been doing this, you know what I mean? Everybody love it. I love it. I enjoy it because, you know what I mean? I get good DMs. I get good emails. And I got brothers calling me from all over the country, all over the world that got different issues that's asking to be mentored by me that's been gone 26 years. So take me out the equation. Who was here for 26 years? What have y'all been doing for 26 years? So these brothers come to me that ain't even get a chance to spend time with my daughter yet.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
No, I totally understand.
You know, don't get mad at me for trying to give back because I know that I tore down my community. You know what I mean? And I feel that it starts with self. I rebuilt myself, so now I'm trying to rebuild my community by giving the brothers what they need, and that's why I have y'all up here giving the brothers, you know, your views on live. You know, not just mine. Because to me, mine is twisted.
And that's the truth. Yeah, that's the truth. Huh?
You know? I think that we don't give a lot of.
No.
What'd you say, H?
No, I'm saying I think that we the devil people overlook that a lot. You know, don't take all the blame. The devil's always busy. So, you know, things was already pre-planned before you were born, before I was born, and we all get tripped in the trap. We tripped in the trap. That's it. So once you get the consciousness and the grace of God gets you out of there, you're good to go. But you ain't responsible for none of this, man. Somebody planned this on all of us, man. That's the truth. Well, I won't even sit here and take the responsibility. It ain't your fault. It ain't my fault. It ain't nobody's fault. It was already planned. And we, like I said, the grace of God.
Well, you know, we got to control.
Let me ask y'all.
You know, that's the.
Let me ask y'all this, right? House, I'm gonna let you answer this last, right? You can hear me? House. Okay. Let me ask y'all this. How important to you guys is it to have a woman in your life?
Number one.
Speak on it.
Number one thing to me.
Why is that?
I think that I take care of myself way before I meet a woman because I have to make sure that mentally I'm available for her, you know, spiritually. And the whole time I'm walking the earth, I'm looking for somebody to share it of the opposite sex. You know, my bros, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, a woman and a man, they follow each other. You know, they take care of each other, and it's more intimate. And it's just beautiful. So I think that a woman is number one on my list before anything else. I get my money. You know, everything else I do naturally. Get money. You know, make sure that I'm you know, educated and informed. That's automatic. But what's not on the list is I need to get a woman. It's hard to find a good one that has the same mentality that I had. So I had to go over and around. But I think woman completes man.
Okay, so the question was how important it is to have a woman. The importance of it to you. or it's not?
So very.
Just keep you out of trouble, man. Keep you out of trouble.
It's actually very important because that's one of our sources and how we build a neighborhood, start or try to start our community. Is we balance out, from because we go to a what 0 to 100, while usually they the modest one or try to keep you level headed. So you need that balance. And I believe life is a battle of good and evil and balancing. And as far as the woman being important, she have to be important because she's God. She's the one that's bringing, well, help with us too. Bringing life. Making that partner, teaching us how to be the share. You know, it start from when you in the playpen, learn how to share. You have to share, or you have to be a good student to become a great leader. And you have to study, which I will have to study. You know, I really didn't put no too much input because, like, I never had that life because I was always blessed. I had family that had me walking a straight line. But I did dabble a little bit. But I also want to touch up on Big Brother that I don't. As far as self hate, I believe that's real. The only way I would actually hurt another brother that looks like me is if he's trying to harm me at that moment of time. But I don't see myself hurting one of my own that look like me. You feel me? I don't know if that's just me personally, but I have that kind of love for my people that I can, sympathize with my brothers that, the first thing they see want to, make a face at you because you're not from their neighborhood or you're not from their block. So if my eye connect with yours, we're going to connect. I don't mind building, because I believe we do need to start networking, finding each other strong points and basically bringing Black Wall Street back, but more on a modern 2020 and on type platform.
All right, Jamie, you was gonna say
True,
something,
that's true,
bro?
man.
Oh, I'm back to the question. The question was, how important is a woman, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, for me, I think it's the most important thing because that's how
Yeah.
we keep our lineage alive. So if you don't have no woman around and you're not having kids or anything, it's just going to be you. So your story is not going to even live no longer. It's just going to be, it's over. Once you pass away, that's it. You're not going to have nobody to carry your name. And then not only that, you're not going to even have nobody to cuddle with. Everybody want to cuddle. If you get that time, those late nights in that cell
So you was a romantic joker.
where you couldn't cuddle, huh? No, it ain't. It's not about being romantic.
How you gonna bring it back to
It's
themselves,
just being
bro?
real. Like, yo, who want to come home and don't have nobody?
Yeah, I'm just asking. So you feeling sexy right now?
It's just, huh?
So you feeling
He mean
sexy
just to
right
have
now?
Nah, man,
no,
cut it
just
out,
have a
man. Cut it
partner.
out.
He just mean a
Nah,
life partner, somebody to tell jokes with
word.
while you coming home type stuff.
So it's important, because half of us, right, when you got a girl,
This
right?
nigga done said.
When you got a girl, half of us call our girl all day long, probably, or send a text message or something. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Everything all right? Yo, your girl becomes your mother. If you
Yep.
get the right girl, she becomes your mother.
I get
Some
what you
people
mean.
call
In
their
some
mommy.
ways.
Word.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to chime in?
Yo, that's deep and real.
That
As
is
far
real.
as him saying that your girl become your
Ain't
mother.
no booty, ain't no girls in jail, man. So don't
Yeah,
go
it
to
ain't none.
jail. That's it, man. Don't go to jail.
Yeah, don't even go. It's none
It's
in
just
there.
nasty work in there, man.
Hey,
Go
no,
date your girl.
listen, but it's a bunch of nothing ass chicks out here too, son. You know what I mean?
Nah,
That
because
sometimes it's better not to mess
I
with
take a
none.
big old fat chick and go to jail, bro. That's for
No,
sure.
we definitely ain't trying to go back.
Well, that's a
But I'm
different
saying
topic on
sometimes,
itself, though. That's a different
But
topic
that,
on
but
itself when we talk about finding the right sister.
Ain't no
You gotta think
women
about
in
all the
jail
stuff
fees.
that our sisters been through.
exactly.
But
Especially when
see,
half of
You
us
are the
turned
right
their
person.
backs
That's
on them and went with something foreign, or what's foreign is in right now, while our sisters is is dealing with the person that we call the devil, and then we want to get mad like, oh, you ain't find a good brother. Well, all the half the brothers is looking somewhere else. They forgot
I
about
mean,
how their mama and their grandmother look like.
you know
that's
what I mean? Now that was deep and real. You know what I
yeah.
mean? A lot of us brothers forget what our mothers and grandmothers look like because we cross over to other races. You know what I mean? And that's a deep. But how do y'all feel about the interracial dating? Meaning that you went deep.
You said
Who want
the
to answer
what?
first?
It depends the
Interracial,
level of it. The
interracial
level of
dating.
it.
Well,
Oh, nobody want to answer? I listen. I'll start then.
Oh,
no,
he got a
Cause
white
I'm
It
shirt.
30.
depends
Oh
the
no,
level
I'm
of
gonna
it.
He got a
answer. I
white
was gonna let
shirt.
I'm
somebody
from the
else go.
Bronx, so I'm from the Bronx, so
Don't
where
answer.
I'm at. Well, basically, I dealt with a lot of Latinas, but I felt like my presence and my approach to my sisters was not enough for them. Half the time where I struck out a lot with them, which I still love them, but I just didn't have that right approach. That's what I'm going to use. But as far as Latin or Caucasian, I ain't having no issues with that. But I dealt with a lot of mix, and I feel like you should be happy who you want to be with. But with that, with saying that, it'll depend on your life story and where you from and where you at.
I like that. You
It's
know, like man, the main thing is, you know what I mean? The main thing is knowing yourself, man. Once you know yourself, then you're capable of being able to know and understand anyone else. You know what I mean? You got to know yourself. You got to know how to love yourself. You got to want to love yourself. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you can't just sit there and, you know, not, not have any self love or any self worth, and then expect to get anywhere in life because everything starts with
That's a
self.
fact.
No matter where you choose to run to, you understand what I'm saying? Uh, 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 you just can't do it, man. It's just all about, being there for each other, moving forward with each other, and don't just jump up in any piece of meat that spread their legs. Because at the end of the day, you don't know, that might be your baby mother, and you couldn't stand her. You know what I mean? But yet you running up in a raw, you're doing
Yep.
this and that. You know you don't want to be with her, but yet you have an intercourse with her raw, and then you want to get mad when she when she when she get pregnant. But then now here you go with a baby mother that you got issues with. You understand what I'm saying? So, moral of the story is take your time to meet the women. You understand what I'm saying? To meet the women mentally. You know what I mean? Before you want to run up in them sexually. You understand? Because like me, I've been down 26, like I said. I masturbated for 26 years. This grown folks prison talk. You know what I mean? So I ain't got a problem coming out here, hopping in the shower and doing me. Because where I was at, they didn't have baby oil. I got baby oil now. So I'm in heaven. You know what I mean? So I mean, what I used to have to use hair grease. You know what I mean? If y'all want to hit it raw. Man, use the light coconut hair grease. You know what I mean? Make sure things right because you won't make sure things right. You know what I mean? So more of the story is, you don't need no woman. You can do you until you find the right woman. And sometimes you'll be better
Right.
off doing that. You understand what I'm saying? Then bring a nothing ass girl into your life just because you want something wet and warm to run up in. Well, you can just go in the shower and you handle your own business. And at the end of the day, whether you bust a nut in the shower by yourself, you know what I mean? Or you bust a nut, with this nothing ass chick. Either way, you busted a nut. Now after that, Now you got to deal with this nothing else. Or you go to the shower and deal with yourself. After you bust a nut, then you move on about your business and continue to get your money until you feel that earth again. Instead of having to deal with this nothing ass chick that you just ran up in because you wanted something physical and wet to run up in. If her mind ain't right, you don't need to run up in and touch you. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm older now, so I know that now. Because back then, I hit everything that moved, keep it 100. You understand what I'm saying? But now,
Right. That's the older perspective. When you're older, you could think that. I feel when you're young, it's like whatever. I'm just trying to run a gun, and you get to a certain age where you run past that. You know what I mean? It gets played out. It's like, all right, let me slow down. Let me build something. Yeah.
I think
The name of the game is trying to build something longevity. You should try to find somebody that's going to build with you. Definitely like the continuity of the black family, and you know, we're black, so we trying to make some more black people, black existence. So yeah, you got to do that with black people, but everybody's different, and whoever you match with, that's your business. If it's truly for you, like there's a lot of people faking the funk, like they rather be with white people because they think that's going to advance them. They rather be with this person because. But listen, if it's not for you, don't do that. If it's truly for you, listen, I'm gonna sit back and do what's truly for me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Hey, Hodge, you just said that today. We was talking on the phone, remember?
What was that y'all were talking about on the phone?
She's gonna go for you. That's the right one, man.
Huh? You said you and Hoff was talking on the phone about something. What was that?
Oh, nah. Me and Hobbs was talking about earlier. Talking about you got to do what's right for you. Like everything is not right for everybody. Why is he on freeze? Everybody, like my troubles is not your troubles. My worries is not your worries.
For me,
and that's what I always
can y'all
say.
hear me?
As far as when people
Yeah,
ask,
we can hear you, Hobbs.
When people ask me what I think about this one and that one, you understand what I'm saying? I don't have that energy to put in the word about the next person because all I care about right now is bettering me. Once you need that, then I can get others right. Until you need get right, I can't. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, it is what it is, man. You know what I mean?
real shit.
Now, okay. The book is good, a good read. Yeah, I'm glad y'all like the book. Make sure y'all check out the book at roaringharlem.com. You know what I mean? And go check out MeccaAudioEntertainment.com, the new website. Click on the links and check out the little banners and all that. You know, I get paid for everything. You know what I mean? I'm out
here. Support that, man.
You know what I mean? Tell them again, big brother. You know what I mean?
Support that, man. What are you waiting for? You heard?
All right. You know, I'm just saying.
Somebody in the comments said, "Yo, better yourself, and the right woman will come." I'm a believer in that. That's real shit too. Like, if you just concentrate on yourself and you build your base, like, the right person will come for you. You know what I'm saying? The right person will connect. Like, if you just looking for a person and you're not focused on yourself, you're not focused on home base, like, that shit ain't gonna work.
You know what?
The master.
I think I would talk about that on. I think we talk about that on Grown Folk Talk on Friday. What he just said, you know what I mean? Because we spend so much time, you know what I mean? Even though prison talk, we're going to talk about relationship going to prison too, as far with your woman on the outside. We spend so much time settling to say, man, I'm going to just deal with this until something better come along. I can't stand it, but it's cold out and she thick as a mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's winter. They got that cornrow coming and all that. I need something like my man Jamie said, something to cuddle with. You know what I mean? So Jamie, don't just settle all the brothers cuddle with. Because while you cuddling with that one, that real
it might not be the right one to cuddle with. That's what you say it.
I've been cuddling for 9 years now, man. I've been married for 9 years, man.
Oh, then that's beautiful.
Cuffing. That's not cuffing. That's cuffing.
Hey, yo, listen,
got under the wing, got together.
Listen, my wife is Belizean, right? My wife is not black. My wife she's Mayan Indian, right? And you want to say Belizean, so she's Mayan Indian and black. That's her heritage, right?
It's not white.
Listen, with me with the white girl and all that, you can't tell your heart who to love.
Right, yeah.
You can't tell your heart who to love. I'm not the one who's gonna tell a
person. But you can tell your homie.
Huh?
But you can tell your homie.
No, I can't tell my homie either. My homie gonna love.
I mean, you love. Jess, you can't tell nobody, right? You can't tell nobody.
Yeah. Just a joke.
Yo, my thing is this with the relationship thing. When it comes to black men with relationships, like you have to pick who you think is gonna be good for you. Like just how y'all all said it, you have to pick who you think gonna be good for you. For me, for my wife, she was good for me. She was good for me.
Y'all balance each other out, yin and yang.
Yeah, we balance each other out. She calmed me down. She's the calm one. I'm the hyper one. So it's like, all right, I'm good. It's 9 years. It's going on 9 years, man. 9 years. So it's not an easy road.
It's not an easy road. That lately.
Mark.
Well,
I feel like too, like people are staying in, you know, they connecting and they creating relationships on superficial shit. Like, oh, you know, he had the fly car, she had the fat ass, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, if you don't really have, like you said, build your connection, you have a connection with that person, that shit will fade. Like, that shit it's not gonna hold enough water for you to stay 9 years, like you said. So yeah, man, she gotta balance you, and you gotta bring something to the table that she don't, and vice versa. Like, and y'all keep, you know what I mean? So that's good shit.
And that's the way you keep a relationship going, man.
Well,
I mean, you know, it's times where I done slipped up, and I admit I slipped up, and I apologize. But at the same time, I'm not leaving my wife. I don't care how I'm not going nowhere. And the reason why I'm not going nowhere is because she gave me 9 years and 2 kids. It's not a lot of situations where you're gonna see 9 years and 2 kids and you still with the same girl. So it's like, yo, at what? That's another thing that we got to start doing too. That's another topic. Yeah. Because as men, we end up with like how my man said earlier, how Unique said earlier, we have 5, 6 different baby mamas.
Yeah.
We have 5, 6 different dramas.
Why you think that is? Why you think that is?
I think that's more so because growing up, it's like it comes with the territory. It depends on what you're doing at that time. If you're a hustler, most hustlers got 5, 6 women. Okay. Most people getting money got 5, 6 women. Most people doing stick-ups only got 1 girl because they not getting enough money to take care of 5, 6 girls. So at
but the money don't take care of the girl. The money's just something to waste, dog.
No, we know. No, listen. The money don't get the girl, right?
I had a bunch of money and a bunch of girls, and I made each one feel special. But me being with them, it wasn't about money for them because they didn't ask me for nothing. You know, I'm more gay from the heart. You understand what I'm saying? And I've met girls that I've met, like when I went to Florida for the first time. No disrespect to my people in Florida watching. When I first went down to Miami, I see girls with the biggest bust, the small waist. I mean, hips, everything looking crazy. Like I ain't never seen in New York. You know what I mean? It's like 88. I'm talking about 40 years ago. But anyway, so now I'm seeing all this, and I push up on them. They give me the number. You know what I mean? I beat them later on and go pick them up. Like this one girl, I never forget. I went to the hotel where she was staying at to go pick her up. And she came in and she said, and I respect her. She said, look, you trying to get some money, right? So we ain't got to waste the money going out to go eat seafood and buying champagne and all that. Just give me $20 and come lay up then. You know what I mean? So you can say, boy, get that shit to the store, man. You know what I mean? And get at the meat, and we can get right to what you want. You understand what I'm saying? And, I respect that, but I don't pay for pee.
Hey, yo, I got a question for you. I got a question for you, right?
Wait, so my fault. Did you say so? Why do men do that? Why do you have several baby mothers? Did you answer that? Because I got a thought about that too.
For me?
Yeah.
Now that's on you, guys, bro. It's your turn.
So, real like maybe like 6 years ago, I worked maybe for a few months at Children's Aid Society. You ever heard of Children's Aid Society?
Yeah, I heard of that.
Which one?
Which one you worked at? Which one? The Bronx or Harlem?
30. In the beginning, there was one in Harlem, like 109th Street. They used to have a basketball court and shit.
Yeah. That's the one on the east side.
And then they sent me downtown, but it was really just like a temporary shit. But I remember seeing a lot of different, families coming in, people that lost their kids for different type of reasons, right? And then you get the gambit of people, like people that go in there legitimately sad that their kid is in the system and they trying to work to get their kid out. Then you get the mothers that come in and they got another kid on the way. They coming in with 2 kids and they coming to see 2 kids. So it's like, damn, you got 2 kids in the system and you pregnant, you got 2 more. So it's like, well, why you do that? I sat at my desk for hours, days thinking about that shit. I really just think part of it comes down to you have the control over that. Like you have the power to create as many kids as you want. Like in a world where you feel powerless, like you can make, if you want to, you have 100 kids. If you want to, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like sometimes that might be like,
it's funny, it's cool, when you bring it back to the when you bring it back to the prison complex and all of that, that's has the
What's that?
behind all good about women. You know what I mean? No one's speaking good. You're not good. You're not getting how will you say, for lack of a better word, you're not getting schooled on, how to, be affectionate with a woman. If anything, you're being told that, and none of them is about nothing. You know what I mean? So what happens is that when you filled up with that, all the horror stories that you hear from brothers who keep trying to say, oh, my girl holding it down, or this one's out, whatever. When you hear the horror stories, it hardens you. It makes you come out here and say, same thing. I'm gonna be a hard. I'm not gonna put no feelings into it because we keep. And, you already learned what happens, and and that's part of the problem in our community because those bad relationships. One thing, they affect our mental health.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Bad relationships. There's two sets of bad relationships that will affect your health, your mental health. That's bad parental relationships and bad intimate relationships. So what happens is these bad relationships and producing a form.
What happened? What happened?
Yeah, you don't have family, and it takes family it takes a family to raise a child because it has to be a balance. What happens, but it's a game to a lot of brothers until what happens is that you get older and now you got kids everywhere. So now you grandpa over here, but we might not be nothing over there. So what happens is that we got to start letting other brothers know that what. But having sex, with a bunch of different women, yeah, it might sound cool when you're 20 and 30, but when you 50, 60, which God willing that eventually, hopefully you'll get there, it's going to really be choppy to really explain how, how you can't come Christmas over here, or how, how you got a grandchild that has nothing to do with you, because you really had nothing to do with that, to do raising the child. So what happens, these are the latter effects of a lot of this stuff. So we got to understand that. And that's the reason why everybody's in these relationships, they're afraid, because everybody wants love. The whole world wants love, but everybody's afraid of getting hurt. So being about everybody being afraid of getting hurt, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? People put up these facades in front, you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? But it does matter. Men do it. And the children are affected by it, and then as those kids grow up, they become inmates because each state estimates how many prison cells they're going to need by how many children in that state fail the 4th or 5th grade. Why do they estimate how many prison cells they're going to need every 10 years? Is because up to 4th grade, you learn to read. After 4th grade, you got to read to learn. So if you're not reading to learn, if you ain't having already on reading levels to learn, then guess what? 90% of the times you're gonna be behind reading level, and that, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be a dropout. So what, they have a place for you. They already have a place for you in this. They go, you say you and they already you gonna end up penitentiary. They want us there because without us working there, then none of the things for the state would be made. None of the things for the city would be made. None of the things for the, the tables, the desks, none of these things will be made. It's called core craft. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So what happens is that they need us to feed that. It's the same way. How do you ensure that there's going to be prisoners? It's the same way. How do you ensure there's going to be somebody at the welfare office every day? You know what I'm saying? That's how you ensure that. And see, what we have to understand is this. You know what I'm saying? Our lives, what we are aware of them, and in the mental. Reading is like lifting weights for your brain. You understand what I'm saying? Reading is different ways for your brain. So what happens is the more you read, the stronger you think, the more control you have over your mind. The more control you have over your mind, and the more control you have over your exercise proper thought. The more you execute things in a proper manner. But what happens is we like this lack of discipline. This is why we over the place. As a group of people making chess moves, we making play moves. You know what I'm saying? And we have to start making chess moves, and we have to start creating institutions in our community. Chancellor Williams said, and the man wrote Destruction of Black Civilization, it's going to take the criminals, it's going to take the gangsters to be able to fix what's going on in our communities. It's going to take the brothers home from the jails. You know what I'm saying? Stop being preoccupied with trying to fit in. And another thing, this is another thing we got to talk about. You know, because it's it's OGs they're sending a lot of YGs. You follow what I'm saying? And so what happened with you sending kids that ain't, and you sending them straight to prison. That's the worst thing you could do is take somebody's baby, somebody's child, and try to form. And you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to do the crime. So what happens is that you know what so we got to start implementing. Start identifying what the true problems in our community, and a lot of it starts with relationships. A lot of it starts because everybody want to be cool. Everybody know. Everybody afraid. Everybody's afraid. You know what I'm saying? To say because we've been conditioned. You know what I'm saying? To have to say, make sure he got some money. The men's is conditioned to say, have 4 or 5. So how we gonna have strong families if we've been conditioned to say, have a bunch of women? It's conditions have strong families. So this is why what ends up happening, the kids grow up out this shit. I grew up in institutions. I realized when I went to prison, I was in prison all my life. I've been in prison since I was 7 years old. So what happens is that we gotta understand something, that it's going to take us, if we want to stop all this nonsense going, it's going to take us. It's going to take us disciplining ourselves. Booker T. Washington said, excellence is doing a common thing in an uncommon way. So we're going to have to start doing common things in uncommon ways, and we're going to have to start exercising some things that, you know what I'm saying, so we can stop feeding, so we can stop making fools of us, because we've been being fools of. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
So this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to initiatives. You know what I'm saying? Start picking up our kids. You know what I'm saying? We're going to start, if nothing else. You know, change my life around. And you know what I'm saying? And me changing my life around, what I want to do is help. It takes staying grounded in what you're going to do. You got to believe in what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to believe in yourself. The same way you can believe in yourself and commit crimes, and the same way you can believe in yourself, and you know what I'm saying, and live that street lifestyle. Because I believed in it at one time. All right, you got to believe in yourself when you walk in them other environments. And one of the things about it is about language. And you got to understand the language. So a lot of the reasons why we fear, what's the problem with us? We fear because we get a certain, we don't understand the language. So what happens is that now we don't want to we get involved, and we fall back to what our officers.
All right, that's what's up.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
Hello?
Yeah. Your house, you can hear me?
Yeah.
So that's where we at, man. We've been on here long enough. Just wanted to step in. Thank everybody for being here.
One way to learn. See, what happens is they give us role. John Dewey said, and progressive education is not, it's taking your natural inclination.
Your house.
I got that.
Yo, Hobbs.
What's up?
He said
Hey, yo, Unique, I didn't know where you was at, baby. I was trying to hold the fort there.
And you did a great job. You know what I mean? Hey, yo, look, I'm about to tune out, man. We're going to be back in next week. I definitely enjoyed you brothers, man. Y'all gave some good feedback. When y'all look back at this, I'm sure y'all going to be proud of yourselves. I'm proud of y'all. Because there's a lot of young people that's looking at this. And if we touch just one, you know what I mean? We made it. You know what I mean? If we touch just one, we made it, man. You know what I mean? And we won't know unless we get in it. You know what I mean? We got to get it. You remember that old saying? You know what I mean? Lotto baby in New York. You got to be in it to win it. You know what I mean? So if we can touch one, we get it. Friday night, we're going to have grown folks talk. That's where we talk about relationships, because you brothers slid off into relationships. That's why I backed out. Because y'all don't want my views on relationships. You know what I mean? But we're going to do this Friday at 10 o'clock right here. Grown folks talk. All right? So y'all know what time it is, man. I'm going to see y'all then. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all want to say anything to the people? Y'all want to do your shout out before you leave?
Yo, thanks for having me, man. It was a great conversation.
Most.
That called my daddy.
Roger, we get ready to sign out.
I just want to say that peace.
Go ahead.
I was just want to say thank you for having me on again, Unique. You know what I'm saying? I
Now,
want to
you know, you family, fam. You
thank
know what I mean?
Nikki. You know what I'm saying? I want to you know, free D-Wee. You know what I mean? And you know, that's all I got to say. I'm signing out.
All right. Raptor, you want to say something, big bro?
All right, brother.
Everybody else?
Peace,
All right.
man. It was a great combo.
All right, invite me to the next show, man.
Unique,
Well,
yeah, man. I
we
see.
be back
I'll
next
try
week.
to do on Friday.
Next week I'm gonna have some females up here. One of them made $10 million in 10 months. You know what I mean? So you can see how females ball now.
But I need to
That's what
talk to
up.
her, man.
Well, she be here
I need
next
to
week.
talk to her. I need to hear her.
Yeah, but just make sure you tune in next week. You know what I mean? But
right,
Jamie,
Shit,
Jamie, hit me up. If anything, I'll bring you in next week. You all right? And you know, got it. So Jamie, thanks for having you, big brother. I appreciate you. All right.
All right, say no more.
One.
Bless,
All right.
man. You have a good one.
All
Yeah,
right. You good?
Unique. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate my brother Haas, you know, letting me sit in with y'all, and I hope, you know, future conversations I have more, you know, input in.
Well, I appreciate you. You gave good insight, big bro. All right.
All right, and I'll see you soon.
All right, family.
And
Thank you, big bro. All right. So now I ain't gonna hold y'all up much longer, man. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. God bless you, and know that we with you. You know what I mean? And respect you 100%. Unique Mecca Audio TV. Go check the whole joint out over there at Unique Mecca Audio TV.